We're constantly on the move, walking, running, working, and playing. Hectic schedules produce a tremendous amount of stress on bodies and minds. As a result, we're continually searching for ways to reduce the tensions in our lives. One ancient healing practice has been relieving stress for people around the world for more than 4,000 years. It's effective and easy to learn. Join us for Recreational Reflexology. Reflexology releases stress and tension, relaxing the body and mind. It can be used for stress management, preventative health care, natural healing, or general relaxation. Where does it all start? With the foot, of course. Simple techniques are used to stimulate specific reflex areas of the foot. These reflex areas correspond directly with all parts of the body. Starting from the top, the upper part of the foot corresponds with the head and neck. Below that is the chest region, then the upper abdomen, the lower abdomen, and finally, the pelvic region. Naturally, the right foot corresponds to the right side of the body, and the left foot corresponds to the left side. There's a reflex area for every part of the body: glands, organs, nerves, muscles, even bones.
Hello, my name is Chris Shirley. I've been practicing and teaching reflexology for the past 14 years. Today I'm going to take you through the whole wonderful process step by step. You can actually practice reflexology with your friend as you watch this video. Stop the video at any point where you would like to practice more, or rewind it if you'd like to review a section.
Reflexology is very therapeutic. It may relieve pain and symptoms of sickness. If you wish to try reflexology with a sick person, limit it to about 10 minutes per session, depending on their degree of illness and how comfortable they feel. When in doubt, be conservative. If you're pregnant or have a medical condition and have doubts about the effects of reflexology, you're advised to consult with a physician for approval before applying reflexology. And although reflexology may aid in the healing process, it should never be considered a replacement for professional health care. When you begin a reflexology session, the first priority is comfort. There are several ways to achieve this: a pillow behind the head, a blanket to keep warm, and a tightly rolled small blanket or a large towel under the ankles will relax your partner as well as make it easier for you. The session can be done using 2 chairs or the floor in a chair, anywhere where both of you are comfortable. Relaxing music or incense will help to create a soothing atmosphere. There are 2 basic techniques used in reflexology: walking and pinpointing. We'll start with walking. Form a fist with one hand. Place your other hand on the fist, with your fingers wrapping underneath and resting on the opposite fingers. Put your thumb on the top of your fist. Now bend your thumb so the skin on the top of your fist is pulled back. Release the thumb and repeat. Pull the skin back with each bend of the thumb. Notice how the thumb will crawl forward over the skin approximately 1/8 of an inch at a time. This forward motion is natural from the bend and release motion. Don't push the thumb forward, allow it to pull itself forward. The nail of the thumb should not come close to the fist, and you should use the flat of the thumb pad, not the tip. Now we'll walk the index finger. Grip the fist with your thumb on one side and 3 fingers on the other side. Rest your index finger on the top of the fist. As with the thumb, bend the last joint of the index finger to pull the skin back. Repeat bending to walk the index finger. Change hands and repeat the same walking techniques with the opposite thumb and index finger. Practice them all until you feel comfortable enough to apply them to the foot. The second technique most commonly used in reflexology is pinpointing. With the palm of one hand facing you, rest the fingers of the other hand on the back of it. The thumb should be on the fleshy side of the palm. The thumb should be pointing away from you and towards the fingers. Press in with your thumb and then pull back by bending the thumb. Notice that it's easier to do this using the side of the thumb. This is pinpointing, and it will stimulate specific deep reflexes. Repeat this technique until you're ready to apply it to the foot. If your nail digs into your flesh when pinpointing with your thumb, or walking with your thumb or index finger, it's necessary to trim your nails. When you're just starting with reflexology, you may wonder how much pressure to use. It varies from person to person. Some like a little, some a lot. Talk to the person you're working on. How much pressure do they prefer? Does it hurt? Are they comfortable? Remember, the most important goal of reflexology is to relax your partner. The most effective reflexology is achieved by correct technique, not by heavy pressure. Don't use more pressure than you are comfortable with. You don't want to wear yourself out trying to please your friend. This is especially true if this is the first reflexology you've ever done. Use very little pressure, or just go through the motions lightly. You'll be surprised at how effective it still is. From time to time, you may come across a sensitive area or point. Immediately decrease the pressure until the person tells you it's comfortable. After you've completed working on the rest of the foot, you may want to work on that sensitive area again. Its sensitivity demands more attention. Just work it very gently. During a reflexology session, the body releases and disposes of toxins. For most people, this process goes by unnoticed. But a few people may feel some temporary harmless side effects, such as perspiration, chills, nausea, gas, runny nose, headache, or an unpleasant taste in the mouth. These effects can be minimized by simply decreasing the stimulation. Sugar is one of the toxins the body may release during reflexology. If your partner is a diabetic who monitors their sugar level, they may notice an increase in their sugar level after a reflexology session. This increase is temporary, as the body will soon eliminate the toxins. Now you're ready to start. First, carefully inspect the feet. Look for any cuts or broken skin, inflamed or swollen areas, blisters, rashes, scars, or other abnormalities. If you find anything that doesn't seem healthy or normal, ask the person about it. Don't be shy. You need to be sure that manipulating or massaging the foot will be safe and won't aggravate anything or cause any damage. Do not stimulate any injured or inflamed part of the foot. Once you're certain it's safe, apply some powder to the feet. Plain cornstarch is preferred, but any other available talcum powder can be used. Pour the powder into the palm of one hand and spread it all over both feet. The powder creates a better surface to apply reflexology. The feet will receive reflexology better if they're warmed up and loosened first. Starting with the right foot and the foot roll. Place both hands on either side of the right foot, with the palms cupping the ball of the foot. Move the hands back and forth to roll the foot. Next is the foot wave. Place the heel of both hands at the base of the ankles so that the palms cup the ankles. With a firm hold on the foot, move your hands up and down in line with the leg. The foot should wave from side to side. Start slowly, then increase the momentum once you have the right motion. Always keep it comfortable and pleasant for your partner. For the spinal twist, put your hands together so the thumbs and index fingers are parallel and touching. Place both hands on the inside of the foot. The hand should be as high on the ankle as is comfortable. Grip the foot firmly with both hands and twist the foot gently with the hand closest to the toes. The index fingers and thumbs of both hands should rub each other as you twist back and forth. Keep the movement playful, not forceful. This will loosen and relax the foot. Now move both hands half an inch toward the toes. With the hand closest to the toes only, repeat the twisting motion. Continue this process, moving the hands closer and closer until you reach the toes. This stimulates the spine reflex area and can be repeated. The foot need starts with one hand placed on top of the foot. Place the hand behind the ball of the foot. The other hand forms a fist and is positioned directly on the ball of the foot. The knuckles lie at the base of the toes. With both hands maintaining constant contact with the foot, push in with your fist. As you release the pressure of your fist, squeeze with your other hand. If you're wearing a ring that gets in the way, simply remove it or turn it so it faces the other way. Continue this kneading motion as long as desired. For the knuckle roll, place your hands in the same position as the foot knead. This time, support the foot with the hand on the top of the foot. Roll the fist of your other hand up and down the sole of the foot, raking the foot with both sets of knuckles. The last warm-up technique is the chest stretch. Grip both sides of the ball of the foot. Your fingers should be on top of the foot and your thumbs lying flat over the ball of the foot. Stretch the ball of the foot by sliding your thumbs from the center of the ball to the sides. Now reposition your thumbs back to the center. The tips of your fingers should face each other at the center of the top of the foot. Stretch the top of the foot by sliding your fingers to the sides of the foot. Repeat the stretch for the ball of the foot and the top of the foot as much as desired. Having completed warming up the right foot, move to the left foot and repeat the warm-up. If you need to, rewind the tape to follow the directions again. These warming up and foot loosening techniques may be repeated at any time or used by themselves. We'll begin our session with the right foot, so to begin, wrap the left foot in a towel to keep it cozy. We'll start working at the ball of the foot for the chest area of the body. This area corresponds with the bronchioles, lungs, thymus gland, heart, shoulder, and diaphragm. Begin by supporting the foot with the left hand cradling the top behind the ball. Rest the fingers of the right hand on the fingers of the supporting hand. To work the bronchial area, walk the right thumb around the pad under the big toe. Walk it up between the big and second toes until it is right beside the joint where the toe joins the foot. Stop here to pinpoint with the side of the thumb for the thymus gland. This gland is responsible for producing antibodies. Release and continue to walk up to complete the bronchial area. Now move the thumb over to the side of the foot and walk up vertically. Repeat this motion to cover the whole area of the pad under the big toe. Next, continue to walk up under the smaller toes until half of the ball of the foot is covered. Here we change hands. Support the foot with the right hand and walk vertically over the rest of the ball of the foot with the left thumb. This completes the area for the lungs. When you reach the pad under the small toe, work it thoroughly. Then grip the small toe with the supporting hand. Walk up the side of the small toe. This area is for the shoulder joint. Next, we'll work the area for the diaphragm. The diaphragm is a thin muscle separating the chest cavity from the abdomen. The corresponding reflex lies across the base of the ball of the foot. Start by gripping the top of the foot with your right hand. Place the thumb of the left hand up against the diaphragm reflex. Simultaneously, push up and in with the thumb as you pull the top of the foot down onto the thumb. Repeat this along the length of the diaphragm reflex. We now move on to the toes. This area corresponds with the head and neck area of the body. Start by supporting the toes with the left hand right up to the top of the big toe. Walk the thumb of the right hand up the pad of the big toe. Do this 5 times to cover the whole pad. The pad corresponds with the sinuses. Walk across the tip of the big toe for the reflexes of the brain. Now move to the second toe. Start at the base and walk the length of the toe to the tip 3 times, once up the center and once up each side. Repeat on the third toe. The shafts of these 2 toes correspond to the eyes and the pads to the sinuses. Change hands to work on the 4th and 5th toes. Support the toes with the fingers of your right hand and work with the left thumb. The shafts of these 2 toes correspond to the ears and the pads to the sinuses. Next, use the left hand to support the big toe and walk the right thumb around the lower crease and then the shaft. The crease of the big toe is for 2 important glands. The thyroid gland controls the metabolic rate, while the parathyroid gland regulates calcium in the body. The shaft of the toe corresponds with the neck. Now hold the big toe securely with the left hand to expose its side. Rest the fingers from the right hand on the top of the foot. Use the side of your thumb to pinpoint at the level of the lower crease. This area corresponds to the 7th cervical vertebrae, which lies at the base of the neck. It's associated with an upper body nerve center. Turn your thumb and walk 6 small steps up the side of the big toe to the base of the knuckle for the other 6 vertebrae of the neck. Lift your thumb and position it by the side of the nail to pinpoint the reflex for the pineal gland. This gland lies at the center of the brain. Supporting the big toe with the left hand, walk with your index finger around the base of the nail for the face and mouth area. Then walk horizontally with the index finger over the top of the shaft of the big toe for more neck reflexes. To complete working the neck and head reflexes, place your right hand gripping the ball of the foot with the thumb, pulling the flesh of the ball down and opening up the ridge that runs along the base of the 4 small toes. Then, with the thumb of your left hand, walk along this ridge to stimulate more reflexes for the neck, eyes, and ears. Look closely at the pad of the big toe. Notice that the pattern of the print is like a whirl. Find the center of the whirl. Support the foot by curling the fingers of the left hand around the side of the big toe. Place the fingers of your right hand on top of the left fingers, positioning your left thumb on top of the whirl center. Then push in and pull back with your thumb to pinpoint the reflex for the pituitary gland. This gland lies at the base of the brain and regulates all other glands. Its reflex is frequently sensitive. Now we move down to work on the arch of the foot. The area between the diaphragm and waistline corresponds with the upper abdomen. Stimulating this area will affect both the liver and part of the stomach. You'll find the end of the 5th metatarsal bone under the little toe. Draw an imaginary line across the arch of the foot to outline the waistline of the foot. Support the foot with the right hand and walk diagonally over the whole area between the waistline and the diaphragm with the left thumb. Now change hands and walk diagonally across the same area with the right thumb. Check the location of the waistline and find the halfway mark between the waistline and the diaphragm under the big toe. Place the right thumb on this point and rest the fingers of your right hand on the top of the fingers of your supporting hand. Push in with the side of your thumb and hook back by bending the thumb to pinpoint the reflex for the adrenal gland. This gland is nicknamed the fight or flight gland, as it releases adrenaline into the bloodstream. Next, support the foot with the right hand. Rest the left fingers on top of the fingers of the supporting hand. With the left thumb, find the point halfway between the waistline and the diaphragm under the little toe. In a similar fashion, push in on this point and hook back onto the reflex for the gallbladder. The gallbladder's job is to store bile between meals. Now we move down to work the area between the waistline and the heel line. This area corresponds with the lower abdomen. Stimulating this area will affect the large and small intestines and the urinary system. Start by pinpointing the reflex for the ileocecal valve, the beginning of the large intestine. Support the foot with your right hand while resting your left fingers on the side of the foot. Between the arch and the heel, look for the area where the flesh changes color and texture. Place your left thumb here, directly in line with the little toe. Push in and hook back to pinpoint this reflex. Turn your thumb to point toward the little toe. Walk with small vertical steps to the end of the bone that indicates the waistline. This will stimulate the ascending colon, which processes and removes waste from the body. Turn the thumb and walk horizontally directly across the waistline for the reflex area of the transverse colon. Then repeatedly walk horizontally to cover the area from the waistline down to the heel for the small intestines. This soft, puffy area corresponds with the urinary bladder. Walk with your thumbs in 4 different directions. First, up to the toes using your right thumb. Second, down towards the heel using your left thumb. Third, up towards the ankle with your left thumb. And lastly, down to the sole with your right thumb. Then walk from the bladder up to the waistline to cover the ureter tube. The ureter tube transports the urine from the kidney to the bladder. When you reach the waistline, lift the thumb over the tendon that extends down from the big toe. Support the foot with your left hand, and with your right thumb, pinpoint the center of the waistline for the kidney. The bottom of the heel is the pelvis area. In this area, we stimulate reflexes for the sciatic nerve. This important nerve travels from the base of the brain right down to each foot. Support the foot with the right hand and rest the fingers of the left hand on the side of the foot. Walk the left thumb 2 or 3 times horizontally across the midpoint of the heel. change hands and support the foot with the left hand. With the right hand, walk in the opposite direction for the sciatic nerve reflexes. You have now completed working the sole of the foot. The inside, outside, and top of the foot also correspond with reflex areas. We'll start with the inside of the foot. It corresponds with the spine, uterus, and prostate glands. The vertebrae which run from the neck to the pelvis are called the thoracic and lumbar part of the spine. To work that area, turn the foot to the side. With the right hand supporting the foot by the heel, rest the fingers of the left hand on top of the foot. Walk with the side of the thumb on the underside of the bones, tracing them from the big toe to the back of the ankle. Then change hands and support the toe end of the foot with the left hand. Rest the fingers of the right hand on top of the foot. Walk back towards the toe, again using the side of the thumb along the underside of the bones. This works the spinal area of the body. The sacral area of the spine includes the 5 vertebrae in the lower back and pelvic area. To work this area, continue supporting the front end of the foot with the left hand. Place the fingers of the right hand under the heel. Walk with the right thumb around the edge of the heel, starting at the back and walking towards the toes. At the end of the heel, beside the bladder reflex area, point your thumb towards the ankle. Pinpoint by pushing in and pulling back for the coccyx or tailbone. This corresponds to a lower body nerve center. Move the thumb, pinpointing step by step along the edge of the bladder reflex for the perineum. The perineum corresponds to the crotch area of the body. There is a common point for the female uterus and the male prostate. Hold the toe end of the foot with your right hand and place your left hand under the heel. Draw an imaginary line from the midpoint of the ankle to the point of the heel. Rest the middle finger of the left hand on this line, where the flesh and the skin change texture and color. Apply a gentle pressure with the finger, and with the right hand, rotate the foot counterclockwise and clockwise. This completes the work on the inside of the foot. Keep your hands in the same positions as we move to the outside of the foot. The outside of the foot includes reflex areas for the ovaries or testes, lower back, hip, knees, arms, and legs. Relax the middle finger and turn the foot to expose the outside of the foot. With the left thumb, find the same location where the flesh changes color and texture, between the midpoint of the ankle and the point of the heel. Push in and pull back to pinpoint the reflex for the ovaries for women or the testes for men. Feel the outline of this triangular soft area. It's surrounded by bone. Resting the left fingers under the heel, walk with the left thumb vertically over this area. This will work the area for the knee, hip, and lower back. To work the area for the arms and legs, support the foot with the right hand. The fingers of the left hand should rest on the top of the foot. Walk the thumb vertically along the side of the 5th metatarsal bone towards the little toe. Place the left thumb on the sole and sliding the thumb as you go, walk your index finger back along the top of that bone until you reach the end of the bone at the waistline. Continue walking across to the bottom of the ankle. Then lift the foot with your right hand, cupping the heel with your fingers. Walk the left index finger around the back of the ankle for the hip area. Now we'll work the back of the leg. With your right hand, lift the foot and the leg off the pillow. Using all fingers in the heel of the left hand, grip the heel and walk about 6 inches up the back of the leg. Grip and release, grip and release. Repeat this 2 or 3 times. working the reflexes for the sciatic nerve and rectum. Now change hands and hold the top of the foot with the left hand. With the right hand, repeat the same procedure 2 or 3 times. On the last return to the heel, position the right hand under the heel. Walk the index finger around the back of the outside ankle for the hip reflex. The top of the foot corresponds with the reflex areas of the chest, middle back, lymphatic glands, and the area between the shoulder blades. Now to work the top of the foot, start with the left hand pushing the big and second toes apart. The right thumb pushes on the ball of the foot. At the same time, the right index finger walks from the base of the toes down this first channel until it ends. This stimulates the reflex for the area between the shoulder blades. Now separate the second and third toes with the left hand. Keep the thumb of the right hand on the ball of the foot and walk down the next channel. Repeat this procedure for the channels between the third and fourth toes and the fourth and fifth toes. These areas correspond to the chest. Next, change hands so that the right hand is separating the fourth and fifth toes. Push the left thumb on the ball of the foot. Repeat the same procedure in reverse by walking from the base of each pair of toes down each channel in turn. Now place both thumbs on the sole of the foot with the tips of all fingers on the top of the foot at the base of the toes. With the thumbs sliding along the sole of the foot, walk all 8 fingers up to the ankles. And then slide them back to the toes. Repeat this 2 or 3 times. This technique is called the snowplow. Now hold the foot and push gently with the right hand. Rest the left fingers under the heel and walk with your thumb from the base of the ankle to the top of the foot. Use the side of your thumb in the groove where the foot joins the leg. Stop when you reach the top of the foot. Reverse your hand positions. Pushing gently with your left hand, walk with your thumb in the groove from the base of the ankle back to the top of the foot. Now rest the web between the index finger and the thumb of your right hand in the same groove. Rotate the foot clockwise and counterclockwise to stimulate the lymphatic reflexes. The lymphatic glands work as an auxiliary to the circulatory system. We are now finished with the first foot. Gently wrap it in a towel to keep warm. Now that the right foot has had all this wonderful attention, it's the left foot's turn. Most of the stimulation of the left foot is identical to the right foot, with a few exceptions that you'll see as we go along. Start by positioning the left foot and begin our warm-up techniques. The foot roll. The foot wave. The spinal twist. The foot knead. The knuckle roll. And the chest stretch. If you need to refresh your memory on each technique, simply rewind the tape and go over them again. As with the right foot, we'll start by working the ball of the foot for the chest. The hands are now in the opposite position. The right hand cradles the top of the foot. Walk with the thumb of the left hand around the pad under the big toe to work the bronchial reflexes. Pinpoint when you get right beside the joint for the thymus gland reflex. Continue to walk up to complete the bronchial area. Walk vertically up over this pad and continue until you've covered half of the ball of the foot. Then change hands and walk vertically over the rest of the ball of the foot with your right thumb to complete the reflex area for the lungs. Remember to work the pad under the small toe and the side of the small toe thoroughly for the shoulder reflexes. Now push the right thumb up against the diaphragm and pull the top of the foot down onto the thumb repeatedly to stimulate the reflexes for the diaphragm. We'll now work the area of the toes corresponding to the neck and head. Start by supporting the toes with your right hand and walk up over the pad of the big toe 5 times, covering the whole pad. This is for the sinus reflexes. Then walk across the tip of the big toe for the brain reflexes. Moving on to the second and third toes, walk with your thumb from the base of the toe to the tip. Do this 3 times, once up the center and then up both sides for each toe. This stimulates the reflexes for the eyes and sinuses. Change hands to work the 4th and 5th toes. Now support the big toe with your right hand. Walk around the lower crease and the shaft of the big toe for the thyroid, parathyroid glands, and more neck reflexes. Hold the big toe to expose its side and rest the fingers of your left hand on the top of the foot. Using the side of your left thumb, pinpoint at the level of the lower crease for the 7th cervical reflex. Now turn your thumb and walk 6 steps up the side of the big toe for the other 6 cervicals, the vertebrae in the neck. Next, lift your thumb and place it by the side of the nail to pinpoint for the pineal gland reflex. Support the big toe with your right hand and walk with your index finger around the base of the nail for the face and mouth reflexes. Then walk horizontally with the index finger over the top of the big toe for more neck reflexes. Next, look closely at the pad of the big toe to find the center of the whorl. Support the toe by curling the right fingers around it. Use your left thumb to pinpoint the reflex for the pituitary gland. To complete working the neck and head reflexes, place your left hand with the left thumb gripping the ball of the foot. With this thumb, pull the flesh of the ball down, opening up the ridge that runs along the base of the 4 small toes. Then with the thumb of your right hand, walk along this ridge to stimulate more reflexes for the neck, eyes, and ears. Now move down to work the arch of the foot, starting with the area between the diaphragm and the waistline. This area relates to the stomach and part of the liver on this foot. Use the end of the fifth metatarsal bone to clarify where the waistline is. Then, supporting the foot with the left hand, walk over this whole area diagonally with the right thumb. Change hands and repeat by walking over this area diagonally with your left thumb. Next, find the halfway point between the diaphragm and the waistline under the big toe. Support the foot with your right hand and with your left thumb pinpoint the reflex for the adrenal gland, the stress gland. Change hands and again find the halfway point between the diaphragm and the waistline under the little toe. Use your right thumb to pinpoint this reflex for the spleen. Now we're going to work the area between the waistline and the heel line, stimulating the reflexes for the large and small intestines in the lower abdomen. Start by supporting the foot with your right hand and walk with your left thumb horizontally across the waistline. Then change hands and walk back with the right thumb to stimulate the reflexes for the transverse colon. Next, rest the fingers of your right hand on top of the foot. Use your right thumb to walk down under the little toe from the waistline to the heel line, working the reflexes for the descending intestine. Turn the thumb and walk it to the midpoint of the heel line. Change hands and walk with your left thumb along the heel line to the midpoint. Pinpoint here to stimulate the reflex for the sigmoid colon, where gas often forms. Now repeat walking horizontally to cover the reflex area from the waistline to the heel for the small intestines. Next, find the small puffy area that's about the size of a postage stamp and corresponds to the urinary bladder. Walk over this area in 4 different directions as you did with the first foot. Then walk from the bladder up to the waistline to cover the ureter tube reflex. When you reach the waistline, place your thumb on the center of the waistline and pinpoint the reflex for the kidney. The reflexes for the sciatic nerve, which lie across the midpoint of the heel, will complete the sole of the foot. Supporting the foot with your left hand, walk with your right thumb horizontally across the midpoint of the heel 2 or 3 times. Then change hands and walk with your left thumb 2 or 3 times in the opposite direction. Now move to the inside of the foot to work the spine, uterus, or prostate reflex areas. Start working the thoracic and lumbar part of the spine by supporting the heel in your left hand. With the fingers of your right hand resting on the top of the foot, walk with the side of your thumb along the underside of the bones. Trace them from the big toe to the back of the ankle. Then change hands. Support the foot with your right hand and walk back towards the toe with the thumb of your left hand. Continue to support the foot with your right hand and place the fingers of the left hand under the heel. Walk the left thumb around the edge of the heel towards the toes for the sacral reflexes. When your thumb reaches the bladder reflex area, point your thumb towards the ankle and pinpoint the coccyx or tailbone. Then move your thumb forward, pinpointing along the edge of the bladder for the perineum reflexes. To work the prostate or uterus reflex, hold the end of the foot with your left hand and place your right hand under the heel. Find the point between the ankle and the heel where the flesh and the skin change texture and color. Rest your middle finger on this reflex and use your left hand to rotate the foot clockwise and counterclockwise to stimulate this point. Keep the same hand positions as we move on to work on the outside of the foot. The outside of the foot relates to the ovaries or testes, lower back, hip, knees, arms, and legs. With the same hand positions, relax your middle finger and turn the foot to expose the outside. Find the same location between the ankle and the heel where the flesh and skin change texture. Pinpoint with your right thumb to stimulate the reflex for the ovaries or testes. Now feel the outline of the soft triangular reflex area for the knee, hip, and lower back. Rest the fingers of your right hand under the heel and walk with your right thumb vertically over this area. To work the reflexes for the arms and legs, rest the fingers of your right hand on the top of the foot. Walk with your right thumb vertically along the side of the fifth metatarsal bone up to the little toe. Then place this thumb on the sole of the foot and walk with your right index finger along the top of that bone. Here, moving the thumb down, continue to walk the index finger across to the bottom of the ankle. For the hip reflex, lift the foot with your left hand and cup the heel with your right hand. Walk the right index finger along the back of the ankle. The reflexes for the sciatic nerve and rectum lie at the back of the leg. Lift the foot off the pillow with your left hand and using all the fingers and the heel of your right hand, grip and release, grip and release. Slowly move up the back of the leg about 6 inches. Repeat this 2 or 3 times. Now change hands and repeat with the left hand. On the last return to the heel, walk with the left index finger around the back of the outside ankle to stimulate the reflexes for the hip again. Now we'll move to the top of the foot for the area between the shoulder blades, the chest, middle back, and lymphatic glands reflexes. Separate the first and second toes with your right hand and push on the ball of the foot with your left thumb. Walk down the first side of the first channel with your index finger. This stimulates the reflexes for the area between the shoulder blades. Separate the second and third toes to walk down the second channel. Repeat for the third and fourth channels to complete the reflexes for the chest area. Change hands and starting with the fourth channel, repeat this procedure in reverse. Now place both thumbs on the sole of the foot and place all fingers at the base of the toes. Do the snowplow technique, walking all 8 fingers up to the ankle and then slide them back down to the toes 2 or 3 times. Then gently push the foot with your left hand. Rest the fingers of your right hand under the heel and walk with your right thumb from the base of the ankle to the halfway point across the top of the foot. Remember to use the side of your thumb in the groove where the foot joins the leg. This is stimulating the lymphatic glands. Change hands and walk from the other side in the opposite direction with your left thumb. Then rest the web between the thumb and index finger of your left hand in the same groove. Use your right hand to rotate the foot clockwise and counterclockwise to stimulate the lymphatic gland reflexes again. You have now completed the left foot. We'll finish working both feet with this last technique. Position both feet in front of you. Place both thumbs flat on the solar plexus reflex area. There's a natural indentation that each thumb fits into. Make sure that your thumb is fitting comfortably into the slot. Then ask your partner to take a deep breath. At the same time, take a deep breath yourself and allow your body's weight to come through your thumbs as you lean forward. Simply lean forward and let your weight push through your thumbs. Try not to push with your arms. Release the pressure by sitting back and breathing out. Repeat this 3 or 4 times. On the last time, as the person releases their breath, instruct them to just let everything go.
Congratulations! You've just completed your first reflexology session. We've covered a lot of ground, and with a little practice, you'll soon be applying reflexology confidently. Just think of all the pleasure it'll bring into your life and your friends. Reflexology can be addicting, and once you've mastered the basics, you'll probably want to learn more about this gentle practice. At the Reflexology Center of Vancouver, we offer further information and training.
To assist you in your practice, we also offer this colorful reflexology foot chart. The chart illustrates each reflex as well as the underlying bone structure. It can be easily referred to while you're applying reflexology. The charts come in several sizes, a large and small wall chart, as well as a handy wallet size chart. For charts or information on further training, contact the Reflexology Center in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada.
Now that you've learned to apply reflexology, it's your turn. You deserve it. Your friend can learn reflexology by working on your feet. Just rewind the video back to the beginning and start the whole relaxing process over again. This time for you.